My expectation for this year was that fair value, which post-halving was going to be in the, 80,000-ish range, somewhere like that, would continue to accrete all the way to somewhere around 100K by where we are today. So to me, fair value is right around that six-digit level. I figured we would blow through that six-digit number, and then the humans would come in and they'd start to lever up, and we'd see a parabolic move probably to 120, maybe even 150. Then the question is, do we get the passage of the strategic Bitcoin reserve? Could that push us well past that 150K range? It's certainly possible. I am still a believer that the 4-year cycle exists. I know there are some now saying that, because of Trump and because of the Bitcoin strategic reserve, and, there's going to be this massive movement toward accumulating Bitcoin and the 4-year cycle is going to go out the window. I'm going to bet that humans are going to human. My expectation for this year was that fair value, which post-halving was going to be in the, 80,000-ish range, somewhere like that, would continue to accrete all the way to somewhere around 100K by where we are today. So to me, fair value is right around that six-digit level. I figured we would blow through that six-digit number, and then the humans would come in and they'd start to lever up, and we'd see a parabolic move probably to 120, maybe even 150. This time in 25, it'll be April-ish, and that would kind of make sense, a year after the halving. So at that point, we'd hit that ebullient level. Then the question is, do we get the passage of the strategic Bitcoin reserve? Do we get, Tom Lee was on CNBC talking about this, saying that, the exchanges don't have enough Bitcoin on their platforms and people are going to be scrambling for it. Certainly possible. Could that push us well past that 150K range? It's certainly possible. If you think about a bell curve distribution, to me, the most likely is we get to fair value. We go to, call it 50% premium above fair value. So that's in that 150 range. And then, unfortunately, we have another bear market starting mid-year 2025, and we enter crypto winter again. Now, those who think that crypto winter is never going to come again, I'm pretty skeptical of that, personally. I ask people this all the time. Look at parabolic charts. Show me one. And all I want to see is one. No one's ever been able to show me one. Show me a parabolic chart that goes parabolic and then goes flat. A new higher plateau. None of them do that, right? They go parabolic and they keep going parabolic and then eventually they go down.
So your outlook seemed to me quite realistic if compared to the one we heard from Samson Mao, who came on our show lately. He was saying that he expects Bitcoin to reach $1 million next year. What can you say about that prediction?
I think Samson's a great thinker on this. But let's just do some math, right? Now, the challenge I have with that is a $20 trillion market cap. So we just hit 2 trillion, or we're just under 2 trillion. A 10x from here means $20 trillion. Well, $20 trillion, what has to happen for this asset to be worth 20 trillion? So people have said it's digital gold, right? Well, all of the gold in the world above ground is like $12 trillion. Well, only half of that counts, because half of it is jewelry and chalices and gold leaf and gold bars. That really doesn't count. The gold bars do, because they're part of the monetary base. The monetary value of gold is about 6 trillion. So we're a third of the way there already. So the idea that the monetary base, if Bitcoin is digital gold and it needs to replace the base layer of gold in central banks around the world, 6-ish trillion is plenty. Now, you say, but that's not all going to be owned by central banks because there's individual holders. Those central banks have got to buy it from somebody. And those, sellers, people say, well, I'm never going to sell. Okay, but someone's got to sell for someone to buy. That's the way markets work. They can't make more out of thin air like fiat currency. So in that environment, Samson's point is interesting, because if I'm a central bank and I say I have to buy 200,000 coins, and Tom Lee says there's no one to sell it to me, well, then I got to keep bidding the price up. So could you see a parabolic move? Sure, but the problem I see with that is if the monetary aggregate base has to increase so much in order to displace gold, what does that do to overall prices of everything?
I think last time we spoke, we already said, well, this is a bear market. For sure, there will be a bull market again. Maybe, or probably there will be ranges like 100K, 1 million. That's a wide range, obviously, but I still think that range is, we can narrow it down a little bit. I've done that before on Twitter. So I'm thinking 250, 1 million is where I expect it to be on average, right? That's not the all-time high or anything. That's the next level that Bitcoin will rotate to, with all the action we see on the MicroStrategy, treasury kind of things, and with Trump and National Reserve talks, big investors, ETFs. Yeah, to be honest, I would be surprised if we're not ending somewhere near 250, 1 million. If we really go to, say, 500K Bitcoin, that would be a 10 trillion market cap, up from today's 2 trillion market cap. So that needs some capital, some flowing from either real estate or stocks or bonds or gold towards Bitcoin. And yeah, I think that's what we're seeing right now. Bitcoin should be in a well-balanced portfolio. It has a place in a well-balanced institutional portfolio. That was unheard of a couple of years ago. Right now, it's I mean, the BlackRocks and the Fidelities are talking about it like it's always has been like that, and it's logical. So no, I think those events play into the enormous jump in price level that we all expect.